Let me ask you a question. Are you using your credit cards the right way? Most people think they are. They pay on time, they collect points, maybe even avoid interest. Sounds good, right? But here's the thing. Even financially responsible people make subtle credit card mistakes. And these mistakes, they're quiet, sneaky. And they can cost you hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars over time. We're not talking about the obvious stuff like maxing out your credit card or missing payments. No, I'm talking about the little things, the invisible traps that most people don't realize they've fallen into. And the best part, once you know what to look for, they're super easy to avoid. So today I'm breaking down 7 credit card mistakes you might be making right now and how to stop letting banks profit off your habits. If you want to actually get ahead with your credit cards and stop leaving money on the table, this video is for you. So let's get into it. Mistake number 1. Paying only the minimum balance. Let's kick things off with a mistake that's way more common than you'd think. Only paying the minimum balance on your credit card every month. Now look, I get it. Life is expensive. Between rent, groceries, gas, unexpected bills, things add up. Sometimes you swipe a little more than you planned, and when that statement hits, you think, okay, I'll just make this minimum payment this month and deal with the rest later. Totally understandable. But here's the cold truth. If you make that a habit, you're basically handing your bank a gift basket of free money every single month. And trust me, they're not going to say no to that. So what actually happens when you only pay the minimum? Well, let's break it down. Most credit cards charge an interest rate somewhere between 18 and 28%, sometimes even higher, especially on store cards or subprime offers. That means every dollar you don't pay off in full starts accumulating interest immediately after your statement due date. And this interest isn't just a one-time thing, it compounds daily. That means tomorrow you'll owe interest on today's interest, and the day after that you'll owe interest on the interest on the interest. See where this is going? Let me give you a real example to put this into perspective. Let's say you have a $2,000 balance on your card with a 22% APR. You decide just to pay the minimum. Let's say that's $60 a month. At that rate, it could take over 11 years to pay it off. And by the time you do, you'll have paid almost $3,900 in total, meaning nearly double what you originally owed. That's over $1,800 in interest alone, just for the privilege of paying it off slowly. And here's the kicker. The credit card company is hoping you'll do exactly that. That's how they make money. They're not making money when you pay in full every month. They make their profits from interest, late fees and penalties. And minimum payers are a goldmine. So how do you avoid this trap? The golden rule, pay your balance in full every month if you can. That way you avoid all interest charges and keep your debt from snowballing. Now, if you're already carrying a balance and paying it in full isn't an option right now, that's okay, life happens. But here's the next best move. Pay as much above the minimum as you possibly can. Even an extra $50, $100 or $200 a month can make a massive difference in how quickly you pay it off and how much you save in interest. You can also look into balance transfer offers if you qualify. Some cards offer a 0% APR for 12 to 18 months on balance transfers. That can give you some breathing room to chip away at the debt without interest piling up. The bottom line here is simple. Minimum payments are a trap. They're designed to look manageable. Hey, just $40 this month, no problem. But that's the trick. The banks know if they can keep you in the loop, they're going to make thousands off you over time. So don't fall for it. Pay off what you can as fast as you can, because the more you pay now, the more you keep in your pocket and out of theirs. Mistake number 2, carrying a balance to build credit. Alright, let's move on to one of the most common credit card myths out there. I hear this one all the time and I used to believe it myself. You have to carry a balance to build credit. Let me clear this up once and for all. You absolutely do not. In fact, carrying a balance can hurt you, both financially and in terms of your credit score. So where did this myth come from? I think it's because people hear you have to use credit to build credit, which is true, but they confuse use with carry a balance. That's a huge difference. Here's how it actually works. The credit scoring models like FICO or Vantage Score are looking at a few key things. Your payment history, whether you pay on time, your credit utilization, how much of your available credit you're using, the age of your accounts, your mix of credit types, and how often you apply for new credit. Nowhere, and I mean nowhere in those models, does it say that you have to carry a balance from month to month in order to build credit. In fact, carrying a balance could actually hurt you in 2 big ways. First of all, it costs you money. If you leave a balance on your card, you're going to get hit with interest. Even if it's just a few $100s, the average APR on a credit card is around 22%. That means for every $100 you leave unpaid, you're paying around $22 a year in interest. And that adds up fast. Then second, it can increase your credit utilization ratio. This is the percentage of your available credit that you're using at any given time. And it's a big factor in your credit score, roughly 30%. The lower your utilization, the better. But if you're carrying balances, even small ones, month after month, you could be hurting your score by bumping up that ratio. So the million-dollar question is this. How do you build credit the right way without falling into a trap of interest charges? Here's the answer. Use your card regularly, but treat it like a debit card. Put your everyday expenses on it. Groceries, gas, Netflix, whatever, and then pay them off in full when the bill comes due. That way you're showing consistent usage and on-time payments, which are great for your credit score without paying a cent in interest. Some people even go one step further and pay off their balances before the statement closes, so that their utilization ratio stays super low when it is reported to the credit bureaus. That's an optional move, but if you're really trying to optimize, it helps. So let me say this again because it's important. You do not need to carry a balance to build credit. That's a costly misunderstanding that benefits credit card companies, not you. So if you've been leaving a balance thinking it's helping your score, you can stop today. Switch up your strategy. Use the card, pay it off, and enjoy watching your score go up without paying interest to get there. The banks won't tell you this, but now you know. Mistake number 3, ignoring credit card rewards. Okay, let's talk about something that a lot of people are missing out on. Credit card rewards. If you're using a credit card and not earning any kind of rewards, whether it's cashback, points or miles, then you're basically leaving free money on the table. And in 2025, there's no reason to be doing that. Credit card companies have created this entire ecosystem of perks to keep you swiping. And while yes, some of it is designed to get you to spend more, the truth is, if you're smart about it, those rewards can seriously work in your favor. Let me break it down. Most credit cards these days offer some form of return on your spending. For example, cashback cards give you 1.5 to 2% back on everything, or higher rates in specific categories like groceries, gas or dining. Travel cards like the Chase Sapphire Preferred card, Amex Gold card or Capital One Venture X card can give you points or miles you can redeem for flights, hotels and more. And then there are store cards or co-branded cards, like airline or hotel cards, that give you perks like free check bags, early boarding or elite status. The key is this: those points, miles or dollars are only valuable if you actually use them, and use them well. But a lot of people make one of two mistakes. They stick with a no-frills card that earns nothing, just because it's what they've always had. Or they have a rewards card but they don't bother to understand how the system works, so they end up redeeming their points for things like statement credits or gift cards, which usually gives you less value. Let's look at a real example. Say you spend $2,000 a month on your card. That's $24,000 a year. If you're using a 2% cashback card, that's $480 in rewards, just for buying things you were already going to buy anyway. That's enough to cover a plane ticket, a few months of groceries, or even help offset your card's annual fee if you have one. Now imagine you're using a card that earns 3 times or 5 times points on categories like dining or travel. That's even more value. Some travel points can be worth 1.5 to 2 cents each when redeemed for flights or transferred to airline partners. That means smart redemptions can stretch your rewards even further. And here's the thing, you don't have to be some credit card hacker or frequent flyer to make this work. You just need to pick a card that fits your lifestyle and make sure you're actually using it for the right purchases. So here's a few quick tips. Match your card to your spending habits. If you dine out a lot, get a card that rewards you for dining. Travel often? Go with a travel rewards card. Know your card's bonus categories and take advantage of them. Avoid redeeming points for things like merchandise or low-value gift cards. The best bang for your buck usually comes from travel redemptions or straight cashback. Also, make sure you're not paying interest. Rewards are great, but they're not worth it if you're paying 20% interest every month. Always pay your balance in full, otherwise you're just giving your rewards right back to the bank. So here's the bottom line. If you're using a credit card and not earning rewards or using them wisely, you're missing out on real value. Credit card rewards can be a powerful tool. Use them right and they can fund your vacations, cover your expenses, or just put some extra cash in your pocket. Free money is on the table. Don't walk past it. Mistake number 4, closing your oldest credit card. Alright, mistake number 4 might seem harmless at first, but it can actually do serious damage to your credit score if you're not careful. And that's closing your oldest credit card account. Now, I get the impulse. Maybe it's a card you don't use anymore. Maybe it doesn't earn great rewards. Maybe it's just kind of sitting there and you think, I'll just close it. No point keeping it open, right? Wrong. That old card is probably doing more for your credit score than you realize. Here's why. One of the big factors in your credit score, roughly 15% of it, is something called length of credit history. That includes 2 things: the age of your oldest account and the average age of all your accounts. When you close your oldest card, both of those numbers can take a hit. Let's say your oldest card is 10 years old and your other cards are around 2 to 3 years old. If you shut down that 10-year-old card, your average age drops and your credit history suddenly looks a lot shorter. That can cause your score to dip, especially if your credit file isn't very thick to begin with. And if you're planning to apply for a loan, mortgage, or new card in the near future, that drop could mean higher interest rates or even a denial. But it doesn't stop there. Closing a card also affects your credit utilization ratio, which is another big factor, about 30% of your score. Credit utilization is how much of your total available credit you're using. When you close a card, especially one with a decent limit, your total available credit drops. And if your balances stay the same, your utilization goes up, which can also hurt your score. Here's a quick quick example. Let's say you have two cards. Card A, which has a $5,000 limit, and it's your oldest card. Then card B, which also has a $5,000 limit. If you carry a $2,000 balance spread between them, that's 20% utilization. Solid. Now you close card A. Your total limit drops to $5,000, but your balance is still $2,000. Now your utilization is 40%, which is edging into risky territory, and your score could take a hit. So what should you do instead? Keep your oldest card open, even if you're not using it often. If it has no annual fee, let it sit. Maybe put a small recurring charge on it, like your Netflix or Spotify, and set up an auto pay so it stays active without much effort. If it does have an annual fee and you're not using the benefits, call the issuer and ask if you can downgrade to a no-fee version of the same card. Most banks offer this, and it lets you keep the account and its credit history without paying for a card you're not using. The goal is to preserve the age of that account, because once it's gone, you can't get that history back. One last note. Just because you can keep it open doesn't mean you have to carry a balance or use it all the time. In fact, the banks are totally fine with you keeping it for the long haul, even with minimal activity. And your credit score will thank you for it. So if you're thinking of cleaning up your wallet and closing cards, pause and think about the impact. Closing your oldest card might seem like a smart move, but in reality, it could do more harm than good. Mistake number 5, applying for too many cards at once. Alright, let's move on to mistake number 5, which I see a lot, especially from people who just discovered travel hacking or credit card rewards and get a little swipe happy. And that mistake is applying for too many credit cards in a short amount of time. I get it. Once you realize how many awesome sign-up bonuses and perks are out there, it's tempting to just go on an application spree. But here's the thing. Every time you apply for a new credit card, a few things happen that could temporarily hurt your credit and potentially make you look risky to lenders. Let's break it down. First, there's the hard inquiry. Every time you apply for a card, the issuer pulls your credit report. That's called a hard inquiry. 1 or 2 inquiries, not a big deal. But several in a short span of time, that can raise red flags. Hard inquiries typically cause a small drop in your credit score, about 5 to 10 points. But more importantly, if banks see too many of them close together, they might think that you're in financial trouble or chasing credit, which makes them less likely to approve you for future cards. And depending on the bank, some have strict rules about how many new accounts you can open. Let's talk about Chase's 524 rule. If you're not familiar, Chase has a policy that says if you've opened 5 or more credit cards from any bank in the last 24 months, they'll automatically deny you for most of their cards, even if your credit score is great. So if you apply for 5 cards across different issuers in the same year and then decide you want a Chase Sapphire Preferred or Reserve card, guess what? You're out of luck until some of those fall off your 24-month window. This is why it's important to strategize, especially if you're just getting started in the points and miles game. Now, what about your average age of accounts? We touched on this in the last mistake, but when you open a bunch of new cards at once, you lower the average age of your credit accounts. And that can impact your score too, because lenders like to see a long, stable credit history, not a burst of activity followed by a bunch of new lines of credit. So what should you do instead? Instead of going wild with applications, pace yourself. Be intentional and ask yourself, do I really need this card right now? How does this fit into my overall credit strategy? And am I chasing a shiny sign-up bonus, or will this card be valuable long term? If you're planning to get into travel rewards, you might want to start with cards from banks that have stricter rules, like Chase, and work your way towards cards with fewer restrictions later. And if you know a major purchase or loan application, like a mortgage or auto loan, is coming up soon, it's usually a good idea to pause on any new credit card applications for a few months beforehand. Bottom line, credit cards are a tool. Used the right way, they're amazing. But applying for a bunch of them all at once without a clear strategy can lead to short-term credit score drops, missed approvals, and even lock you out of better offers down the line. So don't let FOMO or shiny bonuses make you impatient. Play the long game. Be smart about timing and let your credit work for you, not against you. Mistake number 6, not understanding your card's perks. Alright, mistake number 6 is a little bit sneaky and ends up being expensive because it doesn't necessarily feel like a mistake, but it's costing people real money every single year. And that mistake is not knowing or using the perks that come with your credit card. Now, let's be honest, how many of us have actually read the benefits guide that comes with your credit card? Probably not a lot. They're usually 20 pages long, not exactly bedtime reading. But here's the thing, these benefits are where your credit cards can deliver real value, beyond just points and rewards. And most people don't know they exist or forget to take advantage of them. Let me give you a few examples of common perks that people overlook and what they're actually worth. Travel insurance and protections. If you book flights or hotels with certain cards, especially premium travel cards, you might be covered for things like trip delay reimbursement, trip cancellation or interruption, lost luggage protection, rental car insurance, or even travel accident insurance. Let's say your flight gets delayed overnight and you're stuck at an airport. If your card has trip delay insurance, you might be eligible for up to $500 in hotel and food costs, just for booking the ticket with that card. That's huge. But if you don't know about it, you'd just eat the cost and be frustrated, never realizing your card could have covered it. Purchase protection and extended warranties. A lot of cards offer purchase protection, which means if you buy something and it gets stolen or damaged within 90 to 120 days, you can be reimbursed. Others extend the manufacturer's warranty by a year or more. So if your laptop breaks after the original warranty ends, your credit card might have your back. But again, if you don't know it's there, you won't think to use it. Lounge access and TSA PreCheck or global entry credits. If you have a premium card like the Amex Platinum card, Chase Sapphire Reserve card, or Capital One Venture X card, you might get access to Priority Pass lounges, and in some cases the Amex Centurion Lounge. A $120 statement credit for global entry or TSA PreCheck every 4 to 5 years. That means faster airport security, free snacks and drinks, and a quiet space to relax, all included with your card. These perks can add hundreds of dollars in value each year, and many people never use them. Cell phone protection. Some cards, like the Wells Fargo Active Cash Card or certain Chase and Amex cards, offer cell phone protection if you pay your bill with that card. If your phone is stolen or damaged, you could get up to $800 in reimbursement. That's better than what some insurance companies offer. Credits you might be forgetting. A lot of cards come with monthly or annual statement credits, like Uber or rideshare credits, streaming service credits, dining or hotel credits, and airline incidental fee credits. But you've got to use them or they go to waste. It's like having a free gym membership and never going, except the gym literally pays you. So what's the fix? Take 15 minutes to log into your credit card account and look through the benefits. Or Google your card, benefits guide PDF, and read through the summary. You might be surprised at how much value is sitting there waiting to be used. Even better, make a simple list of your top card perks. Stick it in your notes app or somewhere handy. That way, the next time you're booking a flight, buying electronics, or your luggage goes missing, you'll know exactly where to turn. Credit cards are loaded with features that can protect your stuff, save you money, and upgrade your experience. But only if you know about them. So don't leave value on the table. Learn your perks, use your perks, maximize your card. Mistake number 7, redeeming points the wrong way. Alright, let's wrap it up with mistake number 7. And this one's probably the most frustrating, because it's where people unknowingly throw away the most value. And that is redeeming your points or miles the wrong way. Look, earning points is fun. There's a little dopamine rush when you see your balance go up, or you hit that welcome bonus. But if you're not careful with how you redeem those points, you could be getting pennies or even fractions of a penny on the dollar. And trust me, the banks are counting on that. So let's break this down. Redemption option number 1, cashback or statement credit. This is the most default option. You log into your card account, see your points balance and think, cool, I'll just wipe out some charges. But here's the catch. Most of the time when you redeem points for cashback or statement credit, you only get 0.5 to 1 cent per point. Let's say you have 50,000 points. That might sound like a ton, but if you're redeeming at 0.5 cents per point, that's only $250 in value. Not bad, but definitely not amazing. Now, compare that to redemption option number 2. Travel portals. Most major issuers have their own travel booking platforms. Amex has the American Express Travel Portal, Chase has the Ultimate Rewards Portal, and Capital One has the Capital One Travel Portal. These are decent options. With some cards, like the Chase Sapphire Reserve card, you can redeem points at a fixed boosted rate of 1.5 cents per point in Chase's case. So the same 50,000 points, now they're worth $750 when booked through Chase's Travel Portal. That's a huge upgrade from the $250 or $500 you'd get with cashback. So if you're not chasing ultra premium redemptions but still want solid value, the portals are a good middle ground. Redemption option number 3. Transfer partners, aka the jackpot. Here's where it gets fun, and this is how all those people you see flying first class for $12.50 are doing it. Most premium cards allow you to transfer your points to airline and hotel partners, like United, Singapore Airlines, Hyatt, Virgin Atlantic, Air Canada, and more. This is where you can get 2 cents, 5 cents, even 10 cents per point in value, if you know what you're doing. Let's go back to that 50,000 point example. Instead of $250 cash back, you might use the same points to book a $1,000 plus business class flight to Europe, or cover multiple nights at a luxury hotel. But it takes a bit of a strategy. You need to learn which programs your card can transfer to, understand how airline award charts work, and be flexible with your travel dates and destinations. It's not as quick as hitting apply points, but the value, insane. So, what's the mistake? The mistake is redeeming points without checking if there's a better option. Too many people cash them out for Amazon purchases, or wipe out a few Uber charges, when those same points could have paid for an entire vacation. If you're not sure where to start, just look up your card name and best points redemptions. There are tons of blogs and videos that walk you through high-value ways to use your rewards. And even if you don't go full-on travel hacker, just avoiding the worst redemptions can double or even triple the value you get from your points. So credit cards are a tool. And if used right, they can get you free flights, hotel stays, upgrades, protections, and perks most people never tap into. But if you don't know the rules or the best ways to redeem what you've earned, you're leaving money on the table. So before you hit that redeem button, stop and ask, is this really the best use of my points? Because once they're gone, and I want every single one of your points working for you. Alright, so let's quickly recap. We went through 7 major credit card mistakes that most people don't even realize they're making. Number 1 was only paying the minimum balance. Number 2 was carrying balances on the wrong cards. Number 3 was ignoring credit utilization. Number 4 was closing old accounts without a plan. Number 5 was applying for too many cards too fast. Number 6 was forgetting or not using your perks. And finally, number 7 was redeeming your points the wrong way. Now, here's the thing. Credit cards can either cost you a ton of money or provide you with a ton of value. The difference? Knowing how to play the game right. And the good news is, now you do. These aren't just little tips to keep in your back pocket. These are habits that, over time, can protect your credit, save you thousands in interest and fees, and unlock the kind of perks that make you feel like a total genius when you travel or make big purchases. But here's my challenge to you. Don't just watch this video and move on. Take action. Go check your statements. Look at your benefits guide. Reconsider how you're using your cards. And if you're making any of these mistakes, fix them today. Not next month, today. And hey, if this video helped you out, do me a favor and hit the like button so more people can see this video. And subscribe to the channel if you want more honest, no fluff content on credit cards, points, and smart money moves. And drop a comment below. Let me know which mistake surprised you the most, or if there's one you used to make that others can learn from. Seriously, your comment might help someone else dodge a financial headache. Now, if you'd like to learn more about great ways you can squeeze more value out of your credit card setups, check out either one of these videos on the screen where I talk about both the Amex trifecta and the Chase trifecta.